So, Peter, why did you choose geophysics as a career, and how did you get into it?
Well, I actually chose geology to begin with, but I went into geophysics. The main reason being, those days in the UK there was no geophysical undergraduate courses. There was only master's courses. So I did my degree in geology in England at Nottingham University. I chose it because I wanted to explain natural phenomena, how things worked. In the countryside where I lived in England, I just wanted to understand how the rocks developed. I was always fascinated by fossils, but I went into geophysics as my first job and loved it. So yeah, it was great fun.
And Peter, did your education prepare you well for the career?
It gave me a foundation to move on. I guess we did have a unit in geophysics, which I took, but the geophysics then in 1971 and 72 was mainly gravity and magnetics. It was nothing. They showed us a picture of seismic, but we never saw a seismic section. But what it did teach me was contouring, and interpretation. So those are the tools I think that I benefited from, that I was able to make use of later on. But straight geophysical skills, possibly not.
What about your high school, though?
Oh,
Did you get to do any geology or geophysics related things at high school?
Physics, chemistry, and maths was my subject. So in physics, we did all the theory of waves. So that really set me up. And of course, chemistry helped me in terms of the geology side of things. But certainly, doing physics at A level in England, same as ATAR here, was very good. We had a fantastic physics teacher, and he was able to give me all the soundings we needed to have in wave theory and electrical theory.
Well, I think that's quite important. The actual teachers in high school got you interested in sciences or not. You needed a good teacher at the high schools.
Yeah, we had a guy called Mr. Stevenson, and everybody wanted to take physics because we all got good marks.
So, can you give us a summary of your career path?
Well, I was offered two jobs at the end of university. One was a well site geologist with XLOG, and the other one was a seismologist with Seismograph Services Limited out of the UK. And I definitely and easily went to the SSL route, the geophysical route, because the global travel, I wasn't going to be on the rigs, I was going to be working in jungles, and it was going to be a bit of fun. So, I started off there. I've never been on a plane before, and I got on a plane and went to Indonesia, and it was fantastic. And we had 1,000 people. There was 12 of us. There was 1,000 Indonesians we had to look after. We had to learn Indonesian virtually overnight. Man management was really important. So I did that, then went to Sarawak, then went to Brunei doing the same things. It was great occasions, learning all the time. And then I went to Nigeria, and I'd learned an awful lot, and I became a party chief in Nigeria after 2.5 years in the company. And it was great. I did that whole thing there for 5 years, and then I decided I probably need to settle down. So there was an advert in the paper in the UK, and British Gas wanted a geophysicist. So I applied, and luckily the exploration manager who gave me the job, he was ex-SSL and liked people who knew geophysics and did all that, so he gave me the job. And I was an operations geophysicist and an interpreter for Northern England part. So it was really good. I learned an awful lot from my exploration manager at the time, Peter Thompson. And then I did 3 years there, and Maggie Thatcher sold off British Gas, all assets, and there was 2 adverts in the paper to go to Australia, one for BHP Petroleum and one for Woodside. And I'd never heard of Perth, so I'd heard of Melbourne, applied for the job.
Sorry, was it BHP Petroleum or Hematite?
Hematite Petroleum then. It was Hematite Petroleum. They changed their name after about a year. But I joined them, and I was never interviewed for the job. They just, because I was on a seismic boat at the time, and they gave me the job. It was great. Just came to Australia. I was given a responsible job. The first well of mine that got drilled was Jabiru, and they made me an exploration manager after that for some unknown reason. So my geophysical skills in BHP lasted 2.5 years, and I became an exploration manager. But I still love geophysics, and at that time in Melbourne we had ourselves, Exxon, Shell and BP, and basically the centre of oil and gas was Melbourne. And so all the seismic contractors wanted to come to Melbourne. I met Mick when I went to Melbourne. After about a year, we joined the ASEG. We ran conferences together. Then BHP sent me various places around the world. It was fantastic. Myanmar, Yemen, UK. I came back, and it wasn't the same company when I came back. We met when we were there then, of course. And Woodside offered me a job as the exploration manager for Northern Australia. So I did that, and it was the Laminaria Corallina days. Then they put me in charge of international exploration for their first manager there. Great time. Did 17.5 years in Woodside. But I've always loved geophysics. I've always liked shooting seismic, interpreting seismic, and dealing with seismic people. You know, there's a camaraderie that comes around. And the technologies that I've seen in advancing from 1974 through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it's been fantastic. I mean, it's spectacular what's happened.